Hello, my name is Alex and I'm a 28-year-old from Miami. I've always been a person who believed in the power of dedication and honesty, especially in relationships. I'm going to tell you a story about how that belief was put to the ultimate test. I used to believe that anniversaries were hallowed a time to celebrate years of shared memories, inside jokes, and silent looks that communicated so much. For our 7th anniversary, I planned something modest yet heartfelt. Nothing extravagant, just a quiet evening at the same Italian eatery where I first told her I loved her. I reserved the table next to the window, the one she cherished, because it looked out over the city lights. I even got her favorite bottle of wine, the one we couldn't afford in the beginning, but promised we'd share when things got better. They had gotten better, or so I believed. But when 6 p.m. arrived in, I sat there alone observing other couples clink glasses and waiters carrying trays of heart-shaped desserts. Something inside me began to crumble. She didn't show up, no message, no justification, no I'm stuck at work, just silence. I tried not to jump to conclusions. Maybe she was running late, maybe it was traffic, maybe. But deep down I already knew. There had been signs, the sudden phone calls she'd taken the other room, the new perfume that wasn't from me, the way she winced slightly when I touched her shoulder. But I pushed it all aside because love, genuine love, deserves the benefit of the doubt. Or maybe I just didn't want to admit I was loving someone who had already emotionally left the relationship. I waited an hour, then 2. The waiter approached 3 times to ask if I was ready to order. I kept saying no, like a man clinging to a hope he already knew was lost. And then I saw the photo. One of her friends must have inadvertently posted it on their story. Her dressed in the same crimson dress I complimented that morning, sitting across from another man, laughing in a way she hadn't laughed with me in months. They were at a rooftop bar downtown, not even trying to conceal it. My hands went cold, my stomach twisted. And in that moment, something inside me shifted. The betrayal was sharp, but the numbness that followed was colder. I didn't cry, I didn't call her. I just paid the bill, walked out of the restaurant, and began planning what I'd do next. I didn't go home that night, I couldn't. The thought of walking into the apartment we had decorated together, where every corner still held pieces of our laughter and arguments, made my skin crawl. Instead, I drove around the city for hours, the streetlights flickering past like ghosts of decisions I didn't make. The anger wasn't loud, it wasn't dramatic, it was a quiet, boiling storm. What hurt the most wasn't that she cheated, it was that she chose that night, our night, to do it. Our anniversary wasn't just a date, it was a milestone we had earned through late-night compromises, shared grief, and growing pains. And she didn't even have the decency to lie about being busy. That kind of frigidity, it changes a man. It makes him realize how long he's been deceiving himself. I wasn't enough for her, maybe I hadn't been for a while. But instead of telling me, she built a fantasy elsewhere and left me clinging to memories that had long turned hollow. I spent the next morning in silence, gazing at our wedding photo on my phone. She was beaming, her eyes full of promises she didn't keep. I knew I could explode, scream, accuse. But I also knew that wouldn't break her. She was prepared for a fight. What she wasn't prepared for was the truth served. Without drama, without shouting. Just raw and precise. So I gathered every little proof I could. The Instagram story, a receipt I found in her purse a week ago. From a rooftop bar, the same one she visited last night. Her shared location, which I'd forgotten, was still synced to my phone. I didn't want revenge for revenge's sake. I wanted clarity. I wanted her to see exactly how much I had seen, how deeply I understood the betrayal. And then I planned the dinner, not a confrontation, but a farewell. I texted her that I wanted to make up for missing our anniversary, that I had something special planned for the weekend. She responded with a smiley and a can't wait heart. The kind of message that would have once made my heart race. Now it only made my resolve stronger. If she was going to lie with a smile, I was going to destroy the illusion with the same calm. That Saturday evening she walked into the restaurant, looking like nothing had ever happened. Her hair curled just the way I used to like it, her makeup flawless, her heels clicking with confidence. She leaned in to kiss me, and I let her. I smiled back, played my part, and let the silence between us simmer with the weight of everything I knew. Over dinner I asked her how her week had been. She lied effortlessly something about a new project at work late nights and needing a break. I listened, not interrupting once. When dessert came, I excused myself and returned with a small gift bag. "Happy anniversary," I said. She opened it, expecting something romantic, but inside was a single envelope. Perplexed, she pulled out a printed photo. The one of her and the man on the rooftop laughing. Then came the location logs, the receipts, screenshots of messages from her friend's story. Her face turned from confusion to horror in seconds. But I wasn't done. I pulled out one final sheet, a letter from my lawyer, outlining my intention to dissolve our marriage on grounds of infidelity, complete with a detailed division of assets she had never expected me to know about. She stammered, tried to explain, but I cut her off. "You didn't just cheat on me," I said quietly. "You buried every vow we ever made and laughed while doing it. You spent our anniversary lying in another man's arms while I sat alone, still believing in us. That ends tonight." The room around us faded. There was no public spectacle. No yelling, just the sound of her breath hitching and the slow breakdown of the fake world she had built around her. She broke down right there at the table. She wasn't expecting me to have strength. She had spent years convincing herself I was the weaker one. But the truth has a way of flipping the script. I walked away from that dinner, not with revenge, but with peace. Real peace. The kind that comes when you stop begging to be loved and start choosing to respect yourself. She may have spent our anniversary with another man, but I walked out of that marriage with my dignity intact. And that, more than anything, made her collapse.